My name is Jessica Hartman, and if you told me a year ago that I'd one day be standing in the middle of a crowded restaurant, publicly exposing the man I loved, I would have laughed in your face. Back then, I thought I was living the dream. Beautiful home in Charlotte, North Carolina, a steady career as a marketing manager, and a fiancé who seemed to adore me. Ryan and I had been together for 5 years, engaged for one, and we were supposed to get married in less than 3 months. But love has a funny way of blinding you to the cracks, until the light hits them just right. It was a Sunday morning when I first felt something shift. Ryan had stepped out onto the porch to take a phone call. Nothing unusual, except this time when I walked into the kitchen to grab coffee, I caught sight of him through the window. He was laughing, leaning against the railing, voice low, his expression softer than I'd seen in weeks. When he noticed me watching, he ended the call abruptly and mumbled something about work stuff. But Ryan's job in IT didn't exactly require flirty Sunday morning phone calls. I told myself I was imagining it. I'd always trusted him completely. The next few weeks were filled with small, suspicious details I couldn't ignore. Late nights at the office with no overtime pay. Phone face down on the table. Notification silenced. A sudden interest in cologne he'd never worn before. One night, after he fell asleep on the couch, I reached for his phone. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely swipe the screen. His messages were locked behind a password he'd never used before. That was the moment my stomach dropped. I didn't get my proof until 2 weeks later when my best friend Lauren invited me for coffee. She looked uncomfortable, like she'd been holding on to a secret for too long. "Jess, I wasn't sure if I should say anything," she began, eyes darting to the floor. "But I saw Ryan downtown last week. He was with a woman. They were holding hands." Her voice cracked. It didn't look like business. My heart pounded so hard I could barely hear her. Still, a part of me clung to denial. Maybe it was a coworker. Maybe. Lauren reached into her purse and slid her phone across the table. On the screen was a photo of Ryan, his hand resting possessively on the lower back of a tall brunette in a red dress. He was smiling, our smile, the one I thought was just for me. I could have confronted him at home behind closed doors, but something in me wanted him to feel what I felt, cornered, exposed, betrayed. Through a little digging, and by digging, I mean creating a fake Facebook account, I discovered the woman's name was Hannah Scott. She wasn't just some random fling. She worked in the same building as Ryan. From her posts, it was clear they were more than casual. Romantic captions, dinner dates, even a photo of him wearing the tie I'd given him for Christmas. That's when the plan formed. Ryan had made dinner reservations for us at one of the nicest restaurants in town to celebrate us. I decided that would be the night everything came out. I showed up at the restaurant early and requested a table near the center of the room. I made sure my best friend was there, hiding at the bar, phone ready to record. When Ryan arrived, he looked handsome in a way that made my chest ache, like I was losing something I'd once cherished. He leaned in to kiss me, but I turned my cheek. Halfway through dinner, I excused myself and walked out into the lobby. That's when Hannah arrived. I'd sent her a fake text earlier from a number I knew she didn't recognize, telling her Ryan wanted to surprise her at dinner. When she stepped into the dining area, her eyes landed on him instantly. "Ryan," she called out, smiling, until she saw me. I walked back to the table, my heels clicking against the tile like gunshots. Every conversation in the room seemed to pause. "Ryan," I said, loudly enough for the entire restaurant to hear, "would you like to explain why your other girlfriend is here?" Gasps rippled through the air. Ryan's face drained of color. "Jess, this isn't." Hannah's confusion turned to anger. "Girlfriend? You told me you were single." I pulled Lauren's photo from my purse and dropped it on the table. "I guess you've been telling us both a lot of things." Ryan stammered, reaching for me, but I stepped back. "No, Ryan, you don't get to touch me. You don't get to lie to me again. This is over." The restaurant manager awkwardly tried to defuse the scene, but the damage was done. People were whispering, watching as Hannah stormed out, and Ryan sat there frozen. I left without looking back. It's been 6 months since that night. I moved into my own apartment, redecorated it exactly the way I want, and started therapy to untangle the mess he left in my heart. Do I miss him? Sometimes. But then I remember the look on his face when the truth came out, and I realized I didn't lose a man that night. I lost a liar, and I gained my freedom. Sometimes the most painful endings are the ones that save you. By the next morning, the video Lauren recorded was already making its way through our mutual circles. She swore she didn't upload it herself. Someone at the restaurant must have caught the confrontation and posted it. Either way, the clip went viral locally, shared in Charlotte gossip groups, and even picked up by a small news blog under the headline, "Public Confrontation Exposes Man's Double Life at Uptown Bistro." Ryan's company, a mid-sized tech firm, had a strict code of conduct, especially regarding workplace relationships. Since Hannah worked in the same building, HR got involved. Within a week, I heard through a friend that Ryan had been asked to resign. Hannah, humiliated and furious, left the company entirely. I didn't plan for him to lose his job, but I wasn't about to shed tears over it, either. He tried to contact me several times over the next month. First, it was apologetic texts. "Jess, I made a mistake. I love you. We can fix this." Then came the desperate voicemails. "I've lost everything. Please just talk to me." And finally, the angry ones. "You ruined my life. I hope you're happy." I never answered. I'd already blocked his number, his social media accounts, and even told my workplace to screen my calls. I refused to let him pull me back into the same cycle that had nearly broken me. One night, around 10 p.m., I got an unexpected message on Instagram from Hannah. My first instinct was to ignore it, but curiosity got the better of me. "Hey, Jessica, I just wanted to say, I didn't know about you. If I had, I never would have been with him. He told me he was divorced. I'm sorry for everything. I guess we were both lied to." Her words didn't erase the hurt, but they confirmed what I'd already suspected. Ryan wasn't just cheating. He was living two parallel relationships, each full of lies tailored to what he thought we wanted to hear. For the first time, I didn't feel anger toward her. She was another casualty of his deceit. In the months that followed, I poured myself into things Ryan had once mocked or dismissed. I joined a hiking club and spent weekends exploring trails instead of sitting at home waiting for him to finish work. I adopted a golden retriever puppy named Max, who filled my apartment with chaos and joy. I started taking weekend trips with Lauren, laughing until our stomachs hurt in little coastal towns and mountain cabins. The more I lived, the more I realized how small my world had been with Ryan in it. It was late November when I ran into him again, completely by accident. I was grabbing coffee downtown before a meeting when I heard my name. I turned to see Ryan, thinner, tired-looking, wearing a suit that didn't quite fit anymore. He gave me a weak smile. "Jess, you look good." I just nodded, waiting for whatever speech he'd been holding in. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Not for what happened that night, because I deserve that, but for how I treated you for years. I was selfish. I didn't realize what I had until it was gone. There was a time when those words would have shattered me, but now they barely made a dent. "I hope you figure yourself out, Ryan," I said simply, turning to leave. For the first time, I was the one walking away. That night, I sat on my balcony with Max curled at my feet, watching the city lights. I thought about how much had changed in less than a year. The truth had been ugly, humiliating, and painful, but it set me free. Ryan's betrayal didn't define me. What defined me was the choice I made afterward, to rise from it, to build a life so full that his absence didn't feel like a loss. And as for him, well, some truths don't just come out. They echo, reminding you every day of the choices you made. I'd made mine, and I had no regrets.